It started with a letter. Not the kind anyone expected. Definitely not one Charles ever wanted to find. It was tucked between the dusty pages of a book in Balmoral's royal library, where the king had gone for some rare peace and solitude. The Scottish rain tapped against the windows like a ticking clock, and the castle, quiet and cold, almost whispered warnings he didn't yet understand. Charles had simply reached for an old history volume when it happened. A faded envelope slipped out and hit the floor with a soft, echoing thud. The handwriting on the envelope? Instantly familiar. Anne's, his sister. The date? 1998. Inside, the words shook him. Anne's tone wasn't her usual firm, unshakable self. It was scared, raw. She confessed that Camilla, then just his lover, had blackmailed her into signing documents linked to the royal estate fund. A small personal slip-up on Anne's part, twisted into a weapon. Camilla had threatened to expose it unless Anne complied. Anne wrote that she did it out of fear for their mother, their father, and for Charles. But now she said she saw the truth. Camilla was dangerous, ruthless, a woman willing to burn through family to get what she wanted. Charles just sat there, frozen, his breath shallow, hands trembling. The woman he had loved so fiercely, defended for decades, even married against a tide of public hate, had manipulated his own sister. And for what? Money? Control? He felt something shift inside. It wasn't heartbreak. That had come and gone years ago. This was deeper, a crack in the foundation, not just of his marriage, but of everything he thought he knew. His mother's legacy, his sister's dignity, his own blind trust. It all collapsed in the span of one letter. Charles didn't confront Camilla right away. He couldn't, not without knowing the full scale of what she'd done. So he returned to London like a man haunted, quiet but alert. He barely slept, replaying Anne's words every night like a curse. One name kept circling his mind: Andrew Parker Bowles. Camilla's ex-husband, the man who'd known her long before she ever set foot in Charles's world. If anyone had a clear view of the person behind the smile, it was Andrew. He arranged the meeting in secret. No press, no guards, just an old cafe in Gloucestershire with the smell of fresh bread and fading autumn in the air. Andrew was waiting, older now, lined with years but sharp-eyed. They shook hands, firm, unreadable, and sat. Charles didn't waste time. He asked plainly, "Tell me who she was, Andrew. Before all of this, tell me the truth." Andrew paused. Then, slowly, he opened the vault. Camilla, he said, had always been a storm, wrapped in pearls. Charming, witty, but never satisfied with being second. She wanted a crown, not a tiara. He spoke of a night in 1997 where a drunk Camilla had ranted in a Knightsbridge pub, mocking the Queen, slurring that one day she'd take the old woman's fortune and show the world what real power looked like. Someone had filmed it, a bartender just messing around. Andrew paid thousands to keep the tape buried. But he never forgot the words. He went on about the Shadow Trust, the properties in the Cotswolds, the way she used Anne's coerced signature to slowly siphon money out of legacy funds. She said it was for her children's future, but Andrew knew better. She wasn't trying to build a future, he said. She was building a throne. Charles said nothing, just listened. Eyes cold, heart colder. He left that cafe with one thought burning bright. She played us all. And now she has to pay. Highgrove House looked calm from the outside. Green hedges trimmed, staff moving like clockwork, and Camilla seated in the drawing room sipping Earl Grey like nothing was wrong. But her phone buzzed, and with one glance at the screen, the illusion shattered. Palace initiating audit. Every asset since 1990. Full review. The message was brief, but the weight behind it struck like a hammer. Her hands clenched the teacup so tight it shattered in her grip. Tea spilled across the white silk cloth like a bloodstain, and the room fell into silence. She knew Charles had found something. He wasn't the type to move unless the blow would be lethal. And if he was going back that far, he wasn't just angry, he was done protecting her. Panic twisted in her chest, but panic wasn't an option. Not for a woman who'd survived decades of venomous headlines and scornful glances. She'd fought too long to get here. She wasn't about to let it all unravel because of one stupid letter Anne left behind. Camilla summoned her media team, the same PR wolves that had rebranded her from royal homewrecker to the queen who never asked to be. They met in a shadowy Kensington villa, tucked away from paparazzi eyes, surrounded by silence and cigarette smoke. Charles wants to paint me as the villain, she told them. The woman who broke the family. Flip it, make him the tyrant. The king stuck in the past. Jealous, cold, haunted by Diana. The advisors moved fast. Leaks were planted. Stories whispered to friendly tabloids. Articles popped up like weeds. Charles still obsessed with Diana's memory. King uses audits to punish loyal wife. A photoshopped image of Diana's teary face beside a harsh-looking Charles hit the Daily Mail front page. Headlines screamed that Camilla was suffering once again, this time as a royal prisoner controlled by her husband's paranoia. It worked, at least a little. Online sympathy poured in. Women commented about toxic marriages, royalists debated the legitimacy of audits, and Camilla smiled, half relieved. But deep down, she knew Charles wasn't done. She had to move faster. She wrote a letter, not to Charles, but to William. "Dear William," she began, "we are family, bound by love, by grief, by your grandmother's legacy. Don't let